The two is in the window. So they are actually visible, very visible from the outside. Like everybody knows they're there, kind of thing. While the four is on the second floor on the foundation. So that's where they're located in the house. So moving along, core traits of a 2-4 is so the 2 makes them need to have lots of alone time, but the 4 is a people person, so they want to go out and do all the socializing. So it's a nice little balancing act between the two of them. They are very intuitive with other people's needs, and they are quite easygoing and can, you know, also come off as democratic and trying to make sure everybody is getting fair treatment. They are naturally talented at the things. That's what twos are known for. They're naturals. And they have no idea how they're good at the things or that they're sometimes even good at them at all. So there's a little like, huh? What do you mean? That element to this profile. And what happens is other people outside of them recognizes this talent and calls on them, right? So twos have a call and it's up to them if they want to answer it or not. Hence, lady at the door. Okay, I guess I answered this one and they go do the thing, right? And close connections with whom they work with is super important. And they are super, super powerful when they're answering the correct calls. So just because people call on them doesn't mean that they're supposed to answer every single one of them. So it is very important for them to be only answering the ones that they themselves feel is correct for them to answer. So our learning and authority of the 2-4, right? They balance needing alone time, their hermit side with the people person, like I mentioned before, and they learn how to trust their natural gifts, right? So they're this is the difference between like a 2 and let's say a 1, right? A 1 really needs to like study and like get to know the thing. A 2 can pick it up relatively easily, and the more they get comfortable that they don't have to like really prepare, the easier it is for them. And they're energized but their natural gifts. And the opposite is true. If they push too hard to like act like a 1, for example, they will get tired. And the way they improve is by getting feedback from others, right? And others who understand that they're innately talented. And they they are innately talented, but that doesn't mean that they always have to go around sharing it all the time either, right? So it's a combination of like needing solitude and being social, but also needing solitude and like sharing their talents. So they need to do both and, have some recharge time. And they have a natural shyness to them, right? And because of this like inbuilt shyness, only like a very strong pull towards doing a thing is going to be answered by them when they're living in alignment with their design. And they develop their authority by sharing their natural talents, by just freely doing and being the thing that lights them up. So, some challenges for this profile is if they overcommit, they can get very physically drained. They're just like, bomb, just very pooped. And another reason for this is again their recharge happens when they get their solitude. So if they're not giving themselves enough solitude, they're not going to have the energy to go socialize or to share their gifts, right? So in their close personal relationships they also need solitude. So this is not just friends, like, for their family also they need some alone time. I have a very good friend who's a 2-4, and she gets very crabby if she's not getting her alone. So this applies to everybody in their life. And the other aspect of the 2 is the 2 profile well, the line 2 has a projection. So that means because they're naturally talented, people see them as this like shiny thing that they want to be around or to have the gifts shared from. So there can be a projection field happening. So having that awareness as a 2 knowing, oh, okay, there might be a projection happening and they're not really seeing me for me also brings in more understanding of not only themselves, but also how people see them and the type of feedback that they get when they're working with people. They can struggle with too many calls, right? And this is going to lead to stress and burnout. And you need to be able to tell which calls are really, truly meant for you, right? And the fourth line needs a nice supportive network, and all the opportunities will come through the people that they are closest to, right? Your friends, family, work colleagues, things like that. So, in conclusion, the 2-4 is walking a little tightrope of their inner world and their outer world, right? Their inner world of like, I would like to be alone, and their outer world of like, oh, but people want me to share my thing, or I really want to be around others and socialize, right? So, natural gifts and external sharing. Uh, the two absolutely needs a secure environment. Without that, it really messes with their well-being. Same thing, the 2-4 friend I have, when let's say her house is going through like a big upheaval of some sort, or like decluttering or whatever, she's feeling weird because it's like, this is my home and I don't feel secure in my home, right? For the two line twos, it's super important to have a home that they feel comfortable just relaxing in and recharging. And I explain the networks and the way. So I talked a lot about, okay, the correct call, right? So how do you figure out what the correct call is? The way you do this is by using your strategy and authority. So of course, different types will have different strategies and different authorities. So that is how you discern which call is meant for you and which one isn't. So the last thing is proper. I know I said you don't want to study too much, but that doesn't mean you don't want a little bit of a foundation, right? So you teach something and then the two just takes off, right? They learn a thing and then they just take off. So they still need that when the 2-4 is a child, right? That base foundation that they can then hone their gifts in on.